Hey Brandon, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Thanks for allowing us to do a testimonial with you. It definitely helps other investors see, your strategy and how long you've been working with this. Can you take us back to when you first found us and how did you find us? And yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I had been looking at kind of like real estate as an investment in Calgary. I didn't think it was necessarily feasible at first, and then I looked online for like anywhere that would have been some kind of information, and the first thing that popped up was the meetup group. I think you guys were having a seminar the next day, so I popped down, checked it out, and met you guys there. This was probably back in September of 2019, October 2019. And
Awesome.
then obviously like what you guys had to say, it all kind of started to make sense to me. I think I reached out that night and we ended up I think we started looking at houses probably the next like 2 weeks from there.
Yeah. And I remember it was pretty quick when we went out there. We saw a few and you caught on pretty quick on what was good and what wasn't good.
Yeah, I think the first one we looked at, you guys definitely talked me out of more than anything. It was like, hey, there was a guy that came out with a dog when the basement tenants, the upstairs door wasn't even unlocked. And you're like, yeah, we're not buying this one. But what are you actually looking for? And then we kind of went through a few that we looked at that almost made sense. And then we obviously found one that did, that was already suited and had tenants and all that fun stuff.
Awesome. And now the meetings are on Zoom. I know you used to attend in person. Are you
Yeah.
catching them on Zoom? And what do
Yeah.
you like better, the Zoom or do you like in person?
Um, I like the in-person ones because you kind of get a better feel of what's going on. You see who else is there, and you have all you can see who from the area is actually going to these things. But on Zoom is still good. It is nice to be able to do it from home and not have to worry about having to drive downtown or whatever. But
Yeah.
definitely like the in-person ones.
Yeah.
Have been trying to do some of the Zoom ones though when I can. Obviously, work's pretty busy, but
Well, that's cool. That's cool. And so tell us about the first property we ended up buying you and how's it
yeah.
all going?
So it's going well. We bought it December of 2019, I think. Came with a tenant who's actually still there right now. She's
Wow,
awesome.
and
Yeah.
that's the WestJet pilot, right?
Yeah. So she's been there for a while. She's been there longer than we have. She's still there, and we've had a couple of tenants. We actually moved into the basement of that one
Yeah.
for quite a few months
Yeah.
before we bought our second one. And then we got some tenants in there, and they've been great too.
And then
So yeah,
Brandon, did you put 5% down because you moved in or did you put 20% down?
we put it kind of in between, and that was
Okay.
just more so to make the numbers work.
Yeah.
And because, yeah, just with the rents, with what the previous tenant was getting, with the previous contract, and her being such a great tenant, we didn't want to increase that. So just to make the numbers kind of work, we
Yeah.
put a bit more than 5%, but it was still less than 20. I think it was like 10,
Yeah,
10 or
you're
so.
awesome, man, because that's what we teach our investors. Sometimes everyone wants to jack the rents up, but if you got a good tenant,
Yeah.
maybe it's better just keeping her in place, right?
Yeah, exactly. And she's been awesome since we've had her.
So
So that's
so
been
your
good.
first property was already legalized, so
Yeah.
that took that stress away. Now your second property, which has an
Yeah.
awesome walkout basement suite with a fireplace, if I remember correctly,
Yeah,
down there.
that's correct. Yeah. So that
How is
one,
yeah,
yeah. So once we got in, we were going to legalize that one. That was actually a super easy process. I think all we had to do in that one was put a couple smoke detectors in, put a sprinkler in the mechanical room, and that was it. Like everything else was already done. We just had to go through the development permit process, which took about 2 months just because of the zoning of the house. But
yeah,
other than that, did it all through the city's online software. So like almost like a Zoom call where they come in and do the inspection that way. Got the permits, no issues. It's all legalized now, registered with the city.
wow. So
Yeah,
now you have two fully legalized properties, which was the
yeah,
goal to start off with.
yeah,
But how is it going? Because when you move out of this next one, then you'll have four sets of tenants and you're a working professional as well. I know how busy you are. How are you managing everything? And you're doing it on your own, which
yeah,
we kind of trained you on the landlord piece. And how's it
yeah.
working for you?
It's been going well. It's been actually not too bad. My fiance helps me a bunch with like the screening of the tenants and doing all the reference checks and all that. And then I kind of handle more so the maintenance and all that stuff. But it's been going really well. We have really good tenants in place. Obviously, we use kind of the methods that you and Tim teach for finding tenants, and we've been very lucky so far with the tenants we have had. Like
Awesome.
no issues whatsoever. Like great groups of guys. So that's been going well, and yeah, no, it's been awesome. And then once we move out of this one, we'll get tenants up here, and then on to the next one.
That is awesome. I know you're probably getting sick of the suited property thing, but you do have two properties. You nearly got $1 million worth of real estate. I mean, how old are you right now?
I just turned 29.
Oh, come on. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so
And so, Brandon, out of the stuff you learned from us, what were some of the key takeaways? I know you did the basement legal thing, and then you did the
Yeah.
landlord to become a successful landlord. What else learning over the time?
I think the two of the big ones were one was the tax portion of it, because I don't have an accounting background. I'm an engineer by trade, but learning the tax portion of what can be written off, what can be deducted, and some of the seminars you guys have done on that. I've really learned a lot on those and just helped me kind of set it up tax wise, as well as any of the ones with Danielle mortgage wise. I know originally, before we got into the investment game, we had looked at just buying a house like everybody else does, move in, and that's it. And that would have really impacted our ability to get approved for more houses.
Yeah.
But the way it's been set up now, obviously we have the two houses. We've been chatting back and forth. There's potential if we want to get a third, how that would work, and just planning how that would work, right? So
Yeah.
we probably wouldn't have been set up this way. We would have probably been stuck with one house, and that would have been it. And that would have been all we would have really been approved for. But
Yeah.
it's all kind of set up, and we kind of have a plan for the future, which is really good.
Yeah. I mean, that's for such a young person to have $1 million worth of real estate. One day that will be paid off. Who knows what it's going to be worth? But that's just a breath of fresh air hearing that. And so for new people out there that are thinking of coming to our seminars and learning from myself and Tim, what can you recommend or any advice for them out there?
Listen to you guys for one. There's quite a few, like I said, there's quite a few houses where you and Tim just went through. You're like, hey, these numbers don't work. Like, if I know plenty of real estate agents that would have been going for the sale and been like, hey, don't buy the house. It's great. But you guys actually went through the numbers. We're like, this is what your cash flow will be. It just doesn't work. So it's just knowing where to buy, where to look, and just having a good exit strategy for down the line, right? And that's something I think you guys really like to hammer home. So I definitely appreciate that. And yeah, just pulling from, like, if you want to get your teeth fixed, you go to a dentist, right? If you want to go get your car fixed, you go to a mechanic. You want somebody that knows about real estate investing, you go to guys that do it. So
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate everything you guys have taught me. So
awesome, Brandon. And where do you see yourself going in the future with this side hustle that you got going on now?
we're looking at a few different things. Right now, we're not entirely sure. We're pretty happy with we're at the situation we have right now. We have plenty of time, and obviously the Calgary market's heating up a bit, so may or may not be looking. We'll see, but eventually in the future, obviously getting another home to actually live in full time, or maybe get another investment. We'll see, and maybe JV down the line. Who knows? But we got plenty of time, plenty of runway ahead of us, so we're still trying to work out the plan.
No, I know you asked me about the JV stuff, so whenever you need a hand with that, that's fine. But that's awesome. And just quickly, how is it going having because you've always had a tenant either living downstairs or upstairs?
Yeah.
How is that going? Is it getting tiring? Are you at the stage where, I just want to get my own house?
There's an adjustment period for sure. I think when we were in the basement suite of the first one, it was a bit of a different scenario just because we had never lived in a basement suite ourselves.
Yeah.
So that in itself is an adjustment for anybody that hasn't done it. But yeah, we're in the upstairs of this one. To be honest, like the tenants we have, we barely even notice they're here.
Yeah.
I think that's partially because the house we found is set up in a way that it doesn't feel like there's a basement suite.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you remember it, but there was a door going to the downstairs in this one, which we blocked off. We put some soundproof insulation in there. And to be honest, I don't even know if they're home most of the time, which has been awesome.
That's awesome. And I know at a young age, you've gone out of your comfort zone to do something that you've never done before. Mm-hmm. How many other people, buddies of your same age group, have $1 million already? And your next property is probably going to be in the $500,000 range.
Yeah.
So by the age of 30, I'm expecting you to have $1.5 million worth of real estate. I mean, how many other guys are doing this? And even though it's been work and out of your comfort zone, it's been relatively stress-free for you.
Yeah, I think the only stressful days are the days when you're closing on the house, and then everything else is pretty straightforward. Definitely don't recommend closing on your first property on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
But no, other than that, it's been pretty good. Not a whole lot of stress. Every once in a while, there's something that goes wrong where you got to fix the house, but it's something you would have to do if you own the house anyway, right?
Yeah, and that's what we stress in our seminars is that it does take a bit of work, but it's not so crazy.
No, in the grand scheme of things, having to go and fix an exhaust fan in the bathroom isn't the end of the world when you're getting the cash flow every month and you're paying the mortgage and all that stuff, right? So
and have you worked out just on the two properties when you do move out of this one, how much you'll be cash flowing and roughly how much the mortgages are getting paid down?
So I think cash flow depending on the month with utilities and all that, because we try to include utilities in the rent. Cash flows around $200 or $300 a month
Okay.
on the first one, and this one will be actually closer to 400 or 500.
So cash
Um,
flow wise, you'll be $500-600 on two properties, which
yeah,
is then going to help you pay for your third property or be comfortable in
correct.
the third property. And then with the mortgages, have you roughly worked out?
Yeah, so it's about just shy of 2,000 a month in the equity pay down, just because with interest rates being so low right now.
So to put this straight, you're getting paid $500-600 depending on the month per month cash flow to make a further $2,000 a month for your plan B or your retirement or whatever you want to call it, or
Yeah,
building wealth. I mean,
exactly.
how awesome is that? And well, man, we're so happy for you, and we thank you for doing this. It may help other people out there thinking about getting into it. I hope it does. And thanks for keeping it real, man. We
No
appreciate it.
worries. Hopefully see you soon.
Okay, we'll be in touch. Thanks,
All right.
Brandon.
Cheers.
Take care.
You too. Bye.